In other words, the nosotros form. Joel y yo. Joel es mi hijo, mi hijo. Joel y yo somos familia. Nosotros somos atléticos e interesantes. Nosotros somos simpáticos. Nosotros tenemos pelo castaño. Tenemos pelo castaño. También tenemos ojos de color café. Tenemos ojos de color café. Finalmente, nosotros somos inteligentes, muy inteligentes. Okay, nosotros. What do you think nosotros means? We. Nosotros means we. And the other form of nosotros is nosotras. So there's two forms of we. So why do you think nosotras is a little different? Why is it nosotras? Because all girls. It's been a trend lately with the AS. It's a group of all girls. Por ejemplo, Joel y yo. Those are examples of we, Joel and I. And that would be nosotros, because he is a male. And you don't just have to have one person in yourself. You can have several people in yourself, just like in English. So Jason, Joel, Storm. Storm's my cat, in case you're wondering. Y yo. So you can have several people with yourself. The name's just like that. Or even a group in yourself. Los estudiantes y yo. Las profesoras y yo. Now for me, if I turn this into one of the we forms, it's going to be nosotras. If I have a whole paragraph about las profesoras y yo, my pronoun's going to turn into nosotras. So I guess guys don't have to worry much about it, but we women do. So nosotras would be appropriate if you and whoever else are all female. And another example that you could use is tú y yo. So you don't just have to have other people as third person. You can also say you and I. So that's another option for people to talk about when you're trying to describe we. Okay, verb forms. Ser. What did the verb look like for nosotros? Do you remember? Somos. Somos. So somos completes our forms of ser. So the other verbs we've looked at, eres, soy, son, es. All verbs in Spanish, depending on the tense, will have 5 forms. So this is the present tense, or talking about now. So there's going to always be 5 forms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what about tener? What did the we form look like for tener? Tenemos. Tenemos. Do you notice anything alike with tenemos and somos? Yes, they have mos at the end. Mos. And the other forms of tener we've gone over. Tienes, for you have. Tengo, I have. Tienen, they have, or y'all have. Y tiene. He or she has. Or you formal has. So there's the 5 forms of tener. So these 2 verbs are considered irregular, and we'll get more into the discussion about the different types of verbs, the regular verbs and irregular verbs. But I do want to mention it now, especially since you will be receiving a regular verb chart, which will be very helpful in organizing all these forms. Just to give a little preview, irregular verbs, they change funny. All Spanish verbs change, but irregular verbs, they change pretty funny. They're a little non-predictable. For instance, we have tenemos, then all of a sudden we have an IE, then a G comes in there, and then we go back to IE, so this is a little kind of hard to remember at times. And then ser, you think they would all begin with an S, but they don't. There's 2 of them with an E. One ends with a Y. So these are the 2 first main irregular verbs that you'll be learning, and you should be getting a chart today at the end of the lesson. Another thing to keep in mind are adjective endings. You should be keeping them in mind anyway with the other forms, plural forms, such as they, but it's something I want to make sure to point out and keep pointing out. Por ejemplo, Joel y yo somos guapos. So it's the same with nosotros. It's a plural form, so you gotta keep in mind the adjective. So guapos, because Joel is male, that's gonna make that guapos, and there's 2 of us, so there's an S. Ana y yo somos altas. So, because that's me, and Ana's another female, it's altas. Nosotras somos generosas. So if you see a nosotras, and you may not know who we are, who those people are, with their names exactly, but still there's a nosotras, so that makes automatically the adjective female plural, which should have an AS at the end. Now I do want to point out something else. Joel y yo tenemos pelo castaño. Sometimes people try to carry over the whole gender group thing of the subject onto whatever adjective is in the sentence, and you can't really do that. For instance, some people, if they would want to put castaños just because the subject is plural and there's a guy in the subject. You cannot do that, because this, although it's saying Joel y yo, the adjective is not directly describing Joel y yo. It's not saying that we are brown. What is brown? The hair. Pelo. So pelo is what's brown. So castaño is actually modifying pelo. So keep that in mind in case you've been getting mixed up a little bit. Y eso es todo. Hasta mañana.